Okay, I think I have everything working. So this is my kitchen redesign and marketing project all in one. Once again, I have been and am one more day at CHS Lincoln. So about CHS Lincoln, it's a very new facility. It was only opened in July of 2010, and it is relatively small. We are a 3-floor, 101 acute care hospital. We service adults, pediatrics, OBGYN, we have an orthopedic surgeon, urology, oncology, and usually our average patient census is about 65 throughout the whole year. We have 3 floors. We have a critical care unit, telemetry, and med surg, and our food service is managed by Sodexo, much like the other Carolinas healthcare system facilities. The kitchen design, we have a very small kitchen. We were originally a heat and serve unit. When the facility was built, we were under contract with Morrison's, and they operate from a central commissary. So already prepared foods would come to Lincoln. They would use the steamers, the ovens, heat them up, and then we would send them back. Then we would serve. Now we are a full production kitchen with a pretty diverse menu. We are expressively fresh for you menu style, so set meal times, a set menu, patients order and receive their food. Breakfast trays get built at 7:30, lunch at 11:30, and dinner at 4:30. We have minimal space for change within this kitchen just because of the small environment. The work and prep space, we have 4 stations for cooks and 1 separate baker's area, and only 2 of the 4 prep cooks have a full table. So the other 2 have sinks, 2 compartment sinks within their prep area that they have to work around. This is the general marketing plan of the kitchen. As you can see, if you follow my cursor, this is the dining area, and this is the service area. So this is the retail, and this is kind of like the dividing wall. And then this is the general kitchen. So this is our main cooking area, which divides patient line and patient prep area from food production. Right here are these 4 stations I've been talking about. And then over here is the baker's area. This is the small office. These are our kitchen coolers. And then back here is our dish area, dry storage, the door to the dock, and then outside the dock we actually have a even larger walk-in cooler. So as you can tell, there's not a lot of space. This hallway, we keep some carts. We have along this wall is where we keep supplements. Retail things are down this way. And we have a lot of storage on the other side of the patient hotline just to make sure we can kind of fit everything in. We have 2 steam kettles here. We had a tilt skillet. We have a combi oven and a steamer. And the other side, we have our fryolators, our flat top, and our grill, and then our range. So like I said, I don't have a lot of space to change, but what I would do is only really based on maximizing employee capacity for organization and giving them the more space to do so. So like I said, we had a tilt skillet. That was a glorified towel holder. We never used the tilt skillet. One of the cooks liked to stash her things in there so no one would take them. We kept towels. She liked to hide her spices, and that is this. So with a big X, I'm doing that, and that's already happened. And so right now we have a nice open space right there to kind of, we can put carts and things like that. We are getting a new steamer, so we will have 2 steaming units that will go here. But my suggestion, and this is what is happening, is that we put a speed rack and some type of organization here. So this walkway stays clear for the AM cook and the retail cook to cook. And then that way other people can access these steamers. And we don't have as many carts just all around the space like we do. My other suggestion is over here is in the salad prep, her area, and she is very unorganized as a just through observation. She will overload her carts. She works in small spaces, and she doesn't really give herself a lot of room. And so what I suggest is taller shelving units and more narrow shelving units, so that way she can fit more on her in her work area, less on the carts around her, and she has a little bit more space. She also doesn't do a lot of covering up the sinks to make another work area, and that's something I think that she could benefit from. So tall shelves here on the other side of this office. And then my other suggestion is this is the baker's area. If we had a shelving unit that goes on the outside of this walk-in door, then we could have more space, and we could really just kind of start minimizing the use of carts to hold everything. So the habit in the kitchen right now is that they will have a cart, that is their cart, everything they're doing is on that cart, and we have carts everywhere. So if we could have spaces that produced food that needs to cool or things like that could go on these speed racks, I think it would really give everyone a little bit more space to work with. Right now, the baker and the grill are sharing the space in the morning, this long table that resides right here. Due to some recommendations from the health department, they're sharing that space, and the AM cook is kind of moving away from, or I apologize, the AM grill person is moving away from their side of this prep area, because we usually do our defrosting meat there, and we're a little concerned about we want to minimize the ability for cross-contamination. So that's kind of what we're talking about here. So like I said, really the only things that I can't change much, but the areas for opportunities are truly to maximize the employee efficiency. We want some new equipment in order, like I talked about. The food and nutrition service director we've got those in. We're supposed to be getting the new charbroilers, which I think Dessa talked about, and this has been a long time coming, and the steamers as well. So I just think that we need to minimize clutter to help the employees stay organized and then to be more efficient. So to move on to my marketing project, I just completed my marketing project last week for St. Patrick's Day. So St. Patrick's, this celebration is a lunch and dinner menu planned for the closest we can get to St. Patrick's Day. This year it was the Friday before, so I did it on the 16th, and this is kind of one of the intern specialties. So the interns always plan the menu for Halloween and St. Patrick's Day, and everyone looks forward to it. So what it does is I had to include menu planning, food purchasing, and production. I marketed the event throughout the hospital. One of the key areas I did so is in Reflections, which is the weekly teammate newsletter that is sent out to everyone at CHS Lincoln, and then to decorate the Starbucks in the cafeteria area. The basic marketing strategies, my target group were employees of CHS Lincoln, and then of MOB 1 and MOB 2. So those are medical office buildings 1 and 2, which are right next to the hospital. Our office is even in MOB 1, so we have a lot of staff who don't exactly reside in the hospital, but are a part of our campus, and they come over for lunch, and the community members. We have a lot of people who come from the community to eat lunch at CHS Lincoln. We take pride in the fact that we are not only serving those at the hospital, but serving those in the public. And then the goal was to increase sales for Friday. Friday's usually a lower day, to engage the teammate and to just kind of have a fun Friday with it. So this is my menu. I had a lot of different options. So I had a Luck of the Irish grilled cheese, which was a fun grilled cheese that had a pesto in it to make it green. We did pretzel bites and beer cheese. We made Reuben egg rolls. The entrees, we did a spin on shepherd's pie, so we did a Reuben shepherd's pie, which we included some corned beef and some cabbage in that. We did fish and chips. We did a southern style corned beef brisket, which is just brisket, but we called it corned beef brisket. On the menu, it said roasted carrots, and then on the day of, the cook actually got roasted carrots and cauliflower, and they were multicolored. So we adapted, and we called it the end of the rainbow veggie medley. And then we did colcannon, which is a traditional Irish dish, which is mashed potatoes and cabbage together. The soup, they let me bring in some beer, and so I did a Guinness and onion, so kind of a spin on a French onion soup. And then for dessert, I made little leprechaun hats, which you'll see later, and then a chocolate mint brownie. So here's some pictures. This is our lovely barista, Anne, in her decorated little corner. We have a large Hispanic population that works for us and in our community, and so Sandra does the Palabras del Dia, so the word of the day was St. Patrick's Day, and she did that for me. Here's our little display area of our leprechaun hats. I was up behind the salad bar putting up more decorations up there. We hung some Irish flags around. Here you can see that we decorated the top of the hotline. We had some green shamrocks wherever we could. Here's one of our doctors proudly demonstrating or just modeling as he walked by. Here's kind of our doorway. We had some balloons. And then at the end, I did a raffle. So I actually also did a survey asking about the experience of the day. And I raffled off this cup, which was full of a mint chocolate bark. So this is that mint white chocolate bark I made. There was kind of a mix-up. I melted 5 bags of white chocolate to cover my leprechaun hats in, and I dyed it green, and it was really weird. And so instead of pitching it, I said, well, we got to do something with this. We can't waste 5 bags of white chocolate that I just melted. So I ran around the kitchen. We grabbed different things, and we kind of made it like a bark. So we put pretzels and granola and chocolate chips, and I drizzled some caramel over it, and it sold. Here's the mint brownie we did. We did some brownies with M&Ms and some green buttercream icing, and that sold really well. It was really good. These are the leprechaun hats I was talking about. So thank you to the internet for the inspiration, but we dipped it in a green candy coating, and this was a marshmallow on top of an Oreo. And so we tried to make them look like little hats. Here's some of the food. So this is that end of the rainbow veggie medley. This is the colcannon. You can see the cobbler, which I didn't make a special cobbler. They just put out what they always put out on Fridays. I think it was cherry. This is the shepherd's pie, the fish and chips, and the brisket. Due to the hecticness of the day, I did not get pictures of my grill at all until the end. But here's the pretzel bites. We sold out of the beer cheese quickly. Here's a picture of the special from afar. These were the Reuben egg rolls, so they were pretty big, and inside they were stuffed with corned beef and cabbage or sauerkraut and some Swiss cheese and a little Thousand Island dressing, and they were delicious. This is my wonderful staff who helped me with everything. This is Shannon, our head chef, and this is Donnell, the retail cook, and between the 3 of us, we kind of made everything, and I made them pose because I couldn't have done it without them. So this is what they posed for me. And you can see all of the staff kind of dressed up for it as well. Shannon has some green shamrock earrings on. The AM cook looked like a leprechaun. She was decked out. And so everyone really kind of had fun with the day. The food cost, this is based off what we ordered. We had a couple salad specials as well, but those things were pretty much in-house. So it cost about $237.75 for us to buy everything. I'm sure she bought other things and didn't give me the report, and then some of the stuff we already had in-house, so we weren't having to buy. And so I only factored in new food costs instead of using materials we had. The nutrient analysis, this was not developed for a healthful population. I also questioned the accuracy of this, saying that the pretzel bites or like some of this stuff only had 210 calories. I don't think that's true. This is what Food FMS generates, which is the Sodexo program, and this is what was displayed. So I am going to leave this at face value. This was not a menu to promote healthy choices. It was truly a retail menu that sold. We did have some healthier choices, but it was more for the fun of the food. This is the survey I used at the end of the day. So using a scale of 1 to 5, 1 strongly disagree, 5 strongly agree. Please describe your experience. Space below, you can see the questions. I chose a Likert scale on 1 to 5. That way I could quantify my results. And the results were that on average, everyone was in agreement to the questions. So they were satisfied with the portion size provided. They enjoyed the flavor of the foods. It was visually appealing. I got 39 people to stop and answer. So I'm pretty happy about that. I definitely called people out by who I knew and was like, hey, Julie, come and take my survey. So I used what I could to my own advantage. Some recommendations for improvements based on the survey. So a slight increase in the portion of the vegetables. We had some complaints that people will get tons of unhealthy foods, but when it comes to the healthier options, they get a smaller portion. And I think that could be standardization between who is serving. Miss Gloria will put a bunch of stuff on your plate. It doesn't matter what. Whereas Ashley was serving this Friday and she is very skimpy and it is a level scoop. And so I think either we need to up the scoop size and say it's going to be level no matter what, or we just need to kind of work on that. There were some complaints on the pricing structure. I think that prices are relatively low. Employees receive a 20% discount on all foods. So you can get a meat, a starch, and a vegetable for $5 something, not including a drink. So if you got water, I think we just charge 25 cents for the cup. I don't think that this can always be resolved. Someone will always be unhappy. I think the food costs are the prices are pretty low. And they had a positive experience with the meal, which I think is a big success. So the revenue report, last year they sold the total revenue for the whole day, so I couldn't break it up between breakfast, which breakfast was not St. Patrick's Day themed, it was just regular, but for between lunch and dinner it was the themed food. Last year we did about $32 more, which is kind of exciting. So this year we had a total of 406 checks on this day. And 61% of the sales of the day were from teammates. So that shows me that over half of our sales were from teammates and that they were engaged and they wanted to come to the cafeteria for the day. The average Friday sales for the month over the past 4 Fridays, so we were higher than that, which is great. We actually had some extra staff on site due to an Encompass training, so I think we beat that, which is great because these are even kind of high for us. So with this marketing project, we saw a 4.24% increase in comparison to average Friday sales. And then in comparison to last year, it was a 1.37% increase. So this is just kind of a breakdown on how things sold. One thing is the open food may account for some of those treats or any other food item that the cashier didn't recognize. So I can't really break that down, and I think that's some of where my desserts were hidden. So I think that it was really successful. The decorations were up for breakfast. Maybe that inspired the guests to come back and participate for lunch and dinner. Like I said, we had a lot of people on site in the past 4 Fridays, and so the fact that we even beat that was wonderful. Some items sold out after lunch, and they weren't even available for dinner, so we sold out of beer cheese, and we sold out of Reuben egg rolls, which is great. And then there was truly a positive response from the teammates. So they loved, these are some quotes, they loved the holidays here. They always go all out. It's fun. This is a cute idea. Very colorful. Loved the leprechaun hats. You guys do awesome. Excellent event. So I think that we met our marketing goals. We saw an increase in sales. We saw 61% of our sales were from teammates. So I think that shows teammate engagement. And people were happy with it. So that is my marketing project, and I hope you would enjoy it.